Hey you guys, I am back here with yet another weekly warm wax review. Sorry, this is my Sense of Days Gone By number 14, I think this one is. I've been sick for pretty much this whole week. So I thought I wasn't melting a whole heck of a lot because there were some days that I would go 8 hours and not melt anything because I just wasn't really feeling up to it and my sniffer wasn't working. But looking at the empties in front of me, I obviously melted something this week. A lot of somethings. So anyways, my reviews this week may be a little bit off because I was sick, some of them I melted. I don't remember a whole heck of a lot, and because my sniffer was a little off, I mean, I could still smell through it a little bit, but I mean, it's just, I don't think I was on top of my game this week a whole heck of a lot. Before we do get into this, I know I've mentioned this on a ton of videos already, but I am making a point to try to buy less wax. I actually haven't placed a wax order, I think, in like a full week. Which is pretty good for me. I do have a couple outstanding orders from Rose Girls, Victoria's Designer Creations. There may be one or two other ones kind of lingering out there. I did join Daphne's Divine Subscription Chunkster Club for, April, May, June. So I do have some wax coming in, and don't worry, I'm still going to be buying wax. My husband's daughter's family, I have got them addicted. They have like 3 warmers going now. So I have a feeling I'm going to have quite a bit of wax going their way pretty consistently. And then my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, they really like it as well. So pretty much I'm consistently supplying 3 other households with wax. So that's where a lot of my wax is going. And if you guys are wondering why I'm not destashing anything, it's because I think I'd just rather give it to them, than try to do destashes and stuff, because I know that they all really enjoy it. So that's kind of what's going on with me. So the buying is going to decrease. You're not going to be seeing as many hauls. I'm going to keep doing those Sense of Days Gone By. If there's anything specific that you guys want to see, let me know. And I will do my best to try to film those videos. You guys know I try to be pretty responsive on the comment section, and I really enjoy making these videos. So if there is something that you want to request, just let me know. And okay, let's just get into it right here. So I finished up this bag here from Front Porch. This was a dual-sided brittle in Cactus and Sea Salt and Honeysuckle Rose. Now, individually, these are scents that I really like. And warm, they were good too. I would say though that the honeysuckle on warm was definitely the strongest note. It was a very dominant floral note. I probably got 6 melts out of this bag, maybe 5. One time my husband did make a comment that he thought it was way too strong, and then I kind of turned it off. But I had it melting last night and he didn't say anything about it then. But did you like it last night, baby? Okay, he doesn't know what I'm talking about. But either way, on warm, the honeysuckle really came through. Yes, I could still smell the Cactus and Sea Salt. That's a pretty general scent that I think most people are familiar with. It was good. I wouldn't go like stomping down, the street to like try to get it again. It did have a good throw every single time. Front Porch generally does. So yes, good throw. Very strong on the honeysuckle with Cactus and Sea Salt there kind of as a secondary note. Couldn't detect a whole lot of rose on warm, but it was pleasing to me. I mean, I enjoyed it. I would repurchase it, but like I said, I wouldn't go crazy trying to repurchase it. Also from Front Porch, I melted 4 grubbies in Black Raspberry Cotton Candy. I really adored this scent. Black Raspberry is one of my favorite scents. It had a very good throw. One time in an 18 watt and one time in a 24 watt, 2 grubbies at a time. Just Black Raspberry is just so nice and, fruity and kind of tart, and mixed with that really sweet cotton candy, and I do really like Front Porch's cotton candy. It just blossomed and was just gorgeous, fruity, sweet with a great throw. So that one I would absolutely repurchase. This next one here from Front Porch, this is Lemonberry Crumble, and this is actually blueberries and lemons with bakery crumbles as like a secondary note. This one was really good. Now, I melted 2 of them a long time ago, and then I just melted through the last 2 yesterday in an 18 watt hot plate. I don't remember this very much the first time around, but last night in the 18 watt hot plate, it melted beautifully. It threw well from 18 watts, and it really kind of also blossomed. In the bag, I kind of get like a more tart lemon smell, but when it melted, I think the blueberry came out a little bit more. The lemon seemed more tempered. It was better warm than it was cold. I would say that. So based off of how great it smelled warm, I would absolutely purchase that one again from Front Porch. Okay, here from Tiffany Candles. This is one that I got in a very recent haul. It was 1 scallop in Fizzy Pops. Now, I wasn't sure when this one was poured. I normally would not melt it this soon to receiving it, but you guys can probably see in this bag, this one had a ton of oil. And I was like, you know what, like just in case I store it and it, you know, the oil goes everywhere, I would just rather melt it now and be over with it. So I put the single scallop in an 18-watt hot plate. Normally I tend to throw in a lot of wax, so from the single scallop I was like, I might not get a whole lot out of this. Now, when I was walking towards the 18-watt hot plate on the first floor of my house, I could smell it, but I would say it had like a medium-high throw. But if you guys have watched my wax storage update, you can kind of see where the placement is of my 18-watt hot plate in the entryway. This scent went upstairs and filled every single area of my upstairs. The loft, it went into the bedroom, it went down the hallway. It was everywhere. So it was kind of strange because this is kind of like, if I had melted this into my kitchen, I would have thought it had a very not good, like a not good throw, because walking towards it, you couldn't smell it. But man, this one just went up. It went up and then it went out and it was everywhere. So I don't really know how to classify the throw on this one, but it was a gorgeous scent. So effervescent, lemony lime, really fabulous. Yes, I would absolutely repurchase this again as a single scent, and I would also probably blend this in a scoopable bowl as well. And like I said, the throw, I mean, upstairs it was fabulous. Downstairs it was like, you know, medium, but great scent though. Really, really, really gorgeous. Okay, this one here was 2 donuts, I believe, from Ava's Country, covered in sunshine cookies. Now this is one of the ones that I don't really remember a whole lot of. I think I melted it when I was sick. Now it has a very strong just lemon cookie scent, like an iced lemon cookie scent that I've been getting from a lot of vendors. I melted this in a 24-watt hot plate. As far as I remember, I think it threw well. But it wasn't something that I was super in love with. I mean, I think the iced lemon cookie scent, a lot of vendors carry it. Yes, I like it. No, I can't smell a difference between one vendor's iced lemon cookies and another. Now, I don't know if that's what this is, but that's what it smelled like to me. I would repurchase it, but it's not something that I would go like crazy for. But still a quality piece of wax. Okay, this one from Rainbow Melts, Huckleberry Lemon Chiffon. I melted downstairs in the 18-watt hot plate last night. This was like a chunky star, so the whole thing went in at one time. This one, you know what, I don't really remember a whole lot about it either, and I'm getting over my colds. I wasn't sick, but I remember smelling it. I remember thinking that it smells good, but it just wasn't one of the ones for me that was like a super standout, like I would have to buy it again. When I smell it in the bag, it just kind of has a nice sugary sweet lemon scent, I would say, in the bag. So if I don't really remember much about it warm, that normally means it pretty much smells like what it did in the bag. And I do remember smelling it as I was walking around. I don't think it was overpowering, so I would give this one probably somewhere between a high to a good throw, somewhere in that area. So, I mean, I would repurchase it, but I wouldn't, you know, go crazy trying to repurchase it. Okay, this one from Rainbow Melts was in Pumpkin Frosted Birthday Cake. These were 2 of like the 3D pumpkin tarts. Very, very sweet pumpkin scent. Melted it in the 18-watt hot plate. It threw pretty well, but it's just, you know, pumpkins. I'm not really into them right now. And it was just a little bit too sweet for me, so I probably would not seek this particular one out again from Rainbow Melts. But if you guys like really sweet pumpkin scents, then I would keep an eye out for this as we go into the fall here and, you know, down the road. Okay, this one from Victoria's Designer Creations. It was a loaf, an Amaretto Eggnog Pound Cake. Now, eggnog is not really my thing. Amaretto. Oh, that's that almond scent again. Okay, so I remember when I was smelling this cold, I smelled a lot of the eggnog scent. It was very spicy, and I was like, not really for me, but, you know, I'll still melt it. Threw it in the 18-watt, and it really blossomed. Now, when it was melting, I couldn't really smell eggnog. It just smelled sweet and delicious. This is another one that I sort of remember, but don't remember. Yeah, the eggnog scent is very strong in here, but on cold, but not on hot. On hot, I absolutely loved it. It threw well in the 18-watt hot plate. You guys may or may not know, I really intensely dislike almond scents, and this has amaretto in it, which is like an almond scented alcohol or something, but I don't detect any almond in here on cold or warm, I would say. So I would absolutely repurchase that again. That one is another one of those weird ones sometimes where it smells different when it's hot than when it's cold. Sometimes it does that, right? Okay, this one here was a sample from Candles from the Keeping Room in Sweet Lemon Zucchini. This one was like a one loaf, and it was fabulous. This is the one that I had gotten that got me on a lemon zucchini blend kick. It smelled great. It threw well. You could really pick up like that creamy zucchini and the tart lemon, a tart sweet sugary lemon. Absolutely fabulous, hands down, one of my favorites of the week. Okay, moving on. This one here from L3 Waxy Wonders. This was a chunk in Twinkies Buttery Orange Chiffon Cake. This was like a big, square chunk, so I had melted half of it a long time ago. I don't really remember how it went the first time around, but I did melt the second part of it this week in the 18-watt hot plate. It had like somewhere around like a high throw. I would say I could smell it. It did smell really good. You could really pick up that butter and the cream. I don't think I remember picking up a whole lot of orange. I can smell orange on cold, but I remember when it was melting, it was more of a very hot, sweet, doughy, buttery bakery scent with about a high throw. So this was a good one, I would say. I have a lot more from L3 that I'm definitely looking forward to melting. This one here from Super Tarts, this was a clamshell. I believe that Brandy calls them Super Snaps. And this one was in Wildberry cotton candy frosting. This one I had melted half of it a while ago and the other half this week. It threw well, it smelled great. It was just like, oh, I love Wildberry, and then mixed with that cotton candy frosting, so good. And I love cotton candy, but sometimes like cotton candy frosting to me is even better than cotton candy, which is weird because sweet scents to me tend to turn me off, but this one I really love. Great scent. Smelled, I think, pretty much the same on warm as it did on cold. Threw perfectly in a 24-watt hot plate both times. Okay. 10-digit Kreations. I finished up a 4-pack here in Ocean. Now, I think I melted... What did I do with this one? I think I melted this 3 times. So there's 4 scallops in here. One time I put 2 in, and the other 2 times I just melted one of the, of the tarts at a single time. Now, for some reason, the first 2 times I melted it, I don't remember this throwing very well, which surprised me because this is the very first thing from 10-digit Kreations I had ever gotten that didn't really throw that well. Now, I melted it the first 2 times and I was pretty sick. Now, I put on the last scallop yesterday in the 24-watt hot plate. I left the bedroom, came back in, and I could smell it. It wasn't super overpowering, so I would say that this scent is probably one of the more subtle 10-digit Kreations scents, but I would classify this overall as a high throw, but not a good throw. It has a really nice salty sea air, salty spray kind of scent. So even in the bag, it smells a little bit more subtle. So that may explain why it wasn't throwing super well, because it is a more subtle, salty ocean scent. But it is a gorgeous scent. So if you guys are looking for something kind of like in this area, I would highly recommend it. If you are more comfortable with like a medium to like a high throw. Like if you don't want something that's super overpowering, that one is really good. Okay, now this one from 10-digit Kreations. I've been melting this one, another 4-pack. I had like a single tart that had been hanging out. I melted the other 3 like back in fall. Now I remember when I melted it back in fall, it was a combination between the 24-watt and the 18-watt hot plate. Threw well all the other times. I melted the final one this week in the 18-watt hot plate. It threw well. It's a really delicious scent. Because of the apple, it reminds me a little bit more of something I would rather melt in the fall, but it still is like a really gorgeous, fruity scent. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It smells like fall, but it's just gorgeous. It smells like a harvest, like a bountiful fruit harvest with all sorts of things like at Thanksgiving. Something like that. I'm not really sure. It's beautiful. So come this, late summer, early fall, I will be looking for this one from 10-digit Kreations. And like I said, that one threw well. Gorgeous fall scent. Okay, this one from Cage Kreations, Blue Ribbon Cookies. This was a bag of Rainbow Brittle. And I've been melting it on and off since I got it like maybe a month or so ago. I think I've melted it exclusively in the 24-watt hot plate in the kitchen. I might have gotten 5 melts out of this. I can't remember. It is so good. It throws like a champ, and it is, I think, hands down the best cookie scent that I've had. Just like a straight up, like if you want your kitchen to smell like you've been baking or something. Just so gorgeous. I loved it in the Rainbow Brittle. I love Cage Kreations Rainbow Brittle. Oh my gosh, it's just so good. And yeah, and the other reason I finished this bag is because I bought a second bag of Brittle recently as well, so I have like a second bag of it on hand. So I felt comfortable finishing this one up. But gorgeous cookie scent. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend her Rainbow Brittle as well. And like I said, threw like a champ. So impressed. One of my favorites of the week. Sorry, like I said, still getting over my cold. Okay, This from Glade is lavender and vanilla. I don't have a date on here because I just picked this up at the grocery store like a week and a half ago or something like that. Because I've been, you know, messing around with that Scentsy plug-in bulb warmer, and I said this is probably a nice bedroomy type scent. On cold, it smells exactly as described, lavender and vanilla. I would say on cold and hot, I definitely got a little bit more of the vanilla scent than I did a lavender, for sure. Now this one for me and the Scentsy bulb warmer was not a standout. It had like an kind of throw. I've had better throw from the Glade wax melts in that bulb warmer, and because I'm not really as much of like a super sweet vanilla scent kind of person, I would not personally repurchase that one again. Okay, moving on here to BeauxSavonsFrais. This was a bunch of squares in cucumber mint. Now, I did melt this when I was sick because I was gravitating towards a lot of mint scents. I don't remember this one throwing that much. So, it either had a more subtle throw, and that's just the way it is, or my nose was buggered up to the point that maybe it threw better and I really couldn't smell it. But either way, this one was not a standout for me. These were fragrances she was discontinuing anyway. I do like the smell of this on cold. I mean, it smells really good. Yeah, it has a really nice fresh spa, cucumber, you know, mint smell. Great on cold, but just for some reason not memorable as far as the throw. Now, whether that had something to do with my cold, you know, is to be determined, but I would not go seeking out that particular one again. This one from Candles by Victoria, Catchin Fireflies. I melted this one upstairs in the 24-watt hot plate because these always have to go in the 24-watt hot plate. This one is a very complex fragrance. It's warm amber, sandalwood, vanilla, patchouli, musk, rose, orange flower, iris, lotus blossom, berries, plum, orange, and bergamot. There's a ton of stuff in here. Now, overall, this just seems to have like a cologne type of scent to me. I can't really pick up a whole lot of anything on its own. Maybe a little bit of sandalwood just because I'm more familiar with it. But either way, I melted this one. This is another one I melted when I was sick. But I do remember that I could smell it pretty good from the 24-watt hot plates. I would classify this one as a high throw. But I would have to repurchase this and remelt it when I was completely healthy to see if it had a better throw than I remember. But I would classify that one as right now as high. This one from Vintage Chic Scents was a scent shot in Bogie and Bacall. This is a blue sugar and vanilla sandalwood scent. Very cologne-y. Very, very cologne-y. So if that's something that you don't like, stay clear of this one. But I really like it. And I like the sandalwood, but you know, overall it's just extremely cologne-y. Now, this one had about a high throw. I think I melted this one before I got sick. I could smell it in the 24-watt hot plate is what I think I melted it. I could smell it, but it wasn't overpowering. I recently purchased a lot more of this scent, so I definitely want to give this scent another go and probably get a more accurate assessment of it because my brain this week is kind of like off, right? Okay, this one here from Vintage Chic Scents. This one is 15 Minutes of Fame. I showed this in my haul where I had already melted half of it. This is pomegranate and Fruit Loops. It threw really well for me in the 24-watt hot plate. When it was hot, it didn't really smell particularly like Fruit Loops. I think the pomegranate was coming out more when it was warm because it wasn't like I was sniffing the air and going, oh, like that's Fruit Loops. It was kind of more complex than that, I would say. So I can smell the Fruit Loops in here on cold, but warm, I think it was, the pomegranate was blossoming and flourishing and it smelled so delicious. Once again, good throw from this one out of a 24-watt hot plate both times that I melted it. Absolutely, I would repurchase that one again. Also from Vintage Chic Scents, I finished up a clamshell in Mr. Sandman. This was another one I melted when I was sick because it has so much mint. It has rosemary mint, peppermint, eucalyptus, and spearmint. So pretty much any kind of mint, any kind of nice fresh scent you can get in here was in here. Now this is another one where I remember sort of how it was doing, but I think I was melting this at the height of my cold. So I really don't think I could assess this one very accurately. I remember smelling it. I think one time it was in the 20-watt, one time it was in the 24-watt. So yes, I could smell it. I don't remember it being overpowering, but once again, that was probably due to me being all jacked up from the cold. But it smells delicious in here on, you know, when I smell it in the thing. So I would say this one is to be determined. I would absolutely have to remelt this one again before I could, I would want to remelt this one again and give it another assessment, I would say. But it smells really good. This one here from Two Timing Tart and Parasol And this one is Green Fig and Peach Blossoms. It is an absolutely friggin' gorgeous, gorgeous scent. You can smell the peach, and it is a really nice peach. It's like, it's not a perfumey peach, it's a peach scent. Slightly floral. I don't really know what the Green Fig smells like, but yeah, I can detect some other complex note in here. So this is a gorgeous, gorgeous scent. This one is in the old wax formula. This one had about a medium throw. Melted it one time in the Glade, one time in the 24-watt hot plate. I would absolutely repurchase this one again. As you guys know, I am A-okay with a medium throw in the bedroom. This one just gave the bedroom just such a nice ambiance. I just loved it, loved it, loved it. I think in the new wax formula, I would probably dig it even more because I could probably smell it a little better. But once again, I would still repurchase this in the old wax formula anyway. So Green Fig and Peach Blossoms, if that's something that you guys are looking for. Okay, now these last ones here, I left to the end for a reason. So about a month and a half ago, Jessica Cates, who is the owner and operator of 30th Street Wax, she contacted me via Facebook, and she was like, hey, like, you know, would you like to test a couple scents for me? And I was like, I'm pretty new. Like, I still don't really think I know what I'm doing. I'm like, if you are looking for people to test, like, you probably want to go to the more experienced people. And she's like, well, you know, you've melted a lot of wax. So I pretty much just want to see, like, how does my wax stand up to everything else that you've melted from all the other brands? And I was like, okay, I said, as long as you're not looking for, like, a super thorough testing thing, I said, I would be more than happy to just melt your wax and kind of just giving you my opinion from, like, a novice perspective of, like, you know, if I liked it and stuff like that. She did send me, I think it was like 5 or 6 pieces of wax to test. She did send it to me for free. I did offer to pay for it, and she would not let me pay. So anyways, the whole thing was really nice, and just to let you guys know, I probably, for the future, would probably insist on paying for any wax that anyone wants to send me this way. This is not something that, like, I'm looking to try to do all the time. It was kind of a one-off thing, and I really like Jessica. She's super sweet, so I kind of did it for her. But just to let you guys know, like, I'm not looking to get into vendor testing. I'm not looking to do any of that stuff. I'm not looking, like, you know, soliciting people to get stuff for free. It just kind of happened. But if something like this happened again, I think I would absolutely insist on paying for it, just because I don't think I'm comfortable getting it for free. But anyways, so I did melt through these two because I wanted to try it out. Let me talk about this one first. This one is a really super sweet, nice bakery scent. Yeah, just a super sweet. It's kind of, to me, it smells like a little bit more like pound cake, but I really, really like it. And I threw this one in the 24-watt hot plate. It threw really well. My husband was here at the time with his son, and they both could smell it too. They both liked it. I did keep this one on for about 8 hours, which for me is unheard of, but I really wanted to try to, like, let it go for as long as I could until I got really tired of the scent and just see, like, how long it would throw. And it threw well the entire 8 hours in the 24 watt. So this one was a good performer, great scent. You know, it was a little sweet. So when I shut it off after the 8 hours, I was ready for a new scent. Not because it was a bad scent, just because after 8 hours of super sweet Twinkie scent, I just needed to move on to something else. But no, it threw really well. Great quality piece of wax. Okay, the second one here is in Brownie Bake. And as you guys know, I'm not a whole lot of a chocolate person, but this is a chocolate scent that actually I really, really like and enjoy. It smells a little bit more like authentic chocolate to me than some of the other chocolate fragrances I've come across that I don't really like. I smell this and I think chocolate, like cocoa powder and something like that. I don't know. It smells more authentic to me. So I threw this one in the 18-watt hot plate. This one threw really, really well. So I actually had both of these going at the same time. This one in the kitchen, this one in the entryway. This one was actually encroaching on this one a little bit. Now this one at the time was like coming up to the end of its 8-hour run, but I was standing at the periphery of the kitchen and I could smell this one coming all the way from the entryway, which was cool because it threw both out and up. So it was a great thrower. This one I kept on for about 6.5 hours before I switched out for something else, and it threw really well for the entire 6.5 hours. So far from the two things that I've melted from 30th Street Wax, it's looking good so far, and I've got a couple more things to melt, and I'll let you guys know how they did. Now also, just to let you guys know too, Jessica did not ask me to talk about this wax at all. She pretty much just said, hey, melt through it, and then private message me, let me know what you think. But yesterday, after I was melting these, I private messaged her, and I asked her if she was okay with me talking about this on my video. And she was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And also, if you guys are interested, her shop will open on March 26th, is what's going on. But just to let you guys know, she did not send this to me you know, and ask me to talk about it or anything like that. That's just something that I wanted to do because I was just really happy with this wax, and I'm always happy to support new vendors and everything like that. So if you guys have any questions about it, let me know. This is the very first wax I have ever melted that I did not pay for, so I want to disclose that up front. But like I said, from now on out, if this ever happens again, I will insist on paying, and I am not looking to get into vendor testing. I am still a novice, but Jessica just kind of wanted, like, you know, just a general opinion of how it was doing. In my opinion, thumbs up, it's really good. All right, you guys, so that is it. That is the whole Scents of Days Gone By, number 14 or whatever this is. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this and saw some scents that you, you know, saw some scents that piqued your interest, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye.